In a world of depleting resources, potential food scarcity, food shortages, energy crisis, drought, exacerbated by hoarding of resources, hoarding of food, uh, the destruction of our food plants. Some believe that the population needs to be controlled. Now, the approach is totally different than what you might think. Elon Musk seems to think that we have an underpopulation crisis or an underpopulation problem, and I can't imagine how that's the case. Randomly, 10,000 cows are mysteriously killed or they die in some way. Food processing plants are burning down weekly. Seems like the pattern on the food processing plants being destroyed has slowed down just a little bit. I wonder if it's the exposure that many of our prepper channels have made the masses aware of. This channel, Economic Prepper, Canadian Prepper, channels like Kevin Prepper and uh, Patrick Humphrey and Southern Prepper One. A lot of these channels are exposing the accidents, the coincidences or coincidences or coincidenci. I don't know how you properly conjugate that word, but the exposure is there. But Elon Musk seems to think that as one of the elitists, as one of the richest men in the world who just so happens to own space exploration company SpaceX as well as electric vehicle company Tesla, which, mind you, just recently laid off quite a number of people, and that's a whole nother story which we'll save for another day. Stock price remains well into the several hundred dollars per share price, in spite of the recent stock market crash that we've had going into 2022. But the United Nations believes that the world population, in spite of what Elon Musk believes to be, an underpopulation crisis, the United Nations seems to think that we're going to have population growth well into 2100, which is rather scary considering where we are from a food standpoint, from a resources standpoint, uh, depleting fossil fuels. You've got certain administrations which are pushing heavily toward electric vehicle, clean energy, and uh, we don't even have the electrical grid to support it, which is why we're experiencing so many blackouts right now, controlled blackouts, mainly in the west, mid to west of the United States, but there's not enough electricity. We're we're fairly vulnerable, to say the least. Last week, Tesla CEO Elon Musk said that the declining birth rates present one of the biggest dangers to civilization. Do you guys believe that? Do you believe that we should be having more kids? We need to increase the population? Does that make sense right now? Now, I don't know how many of you guys heard, but the Georgia Guidestones were just destroyed by an explosion about a week ago. Now, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't have the quote in front of me, but the Georgia Guidestones said something about you want to keep the population under 500 million, if I'm not mistaken. And that's not exactly the verbatim wording on the Guidestones, but we're far from that. We are far from only having 500 million human beings on the planet Earth within our civilization. We're somewhere around the 8 billion mark in terms of our entire worldwide population. Now, I don't know if you believe in the Georgia Guidestones. I don't know if you believe there's any validity to the statement that we should keep population below half a million people, below half a billion people at 500 million. Uh, That's probably something we'll save for another video. But Elon Musk thinks that we need more people on the planet. I think if you live anywhere near the suburbs to major cities, you will probably disagree with that. Heck, even if you live in the rural parts of town, you may disagree with that. So a new report came out, and it basically said that while the new rate of people being born around the world is slowing, the global population is expected to continue to grow for many more decades. Now, depends on what you subscribe to. Do you believe that we're running out of resources? I mean, we saw a brief hiccup in our supply chain cause massive hysteria, panic, and violence in the streets. Food shortages, war. So even beyond the original cause for the supply chain disruption, you had a war breakout. This war has significantly impacted the cost of fuel, food, you name it. And wars happen. They've happened since eternity, and they will continue to happen. So, but what we've witnessed is the impacts of these minor to major crises and how it affects our food supply, how it affects our energy availability, oil and gas, jobs, inflation, fear factor. I'm gonna be honest with you. You're surrounded by a lot of people who are fearful. That's gonna get real scary real quick. You've got currency collapse. You've got economic collapse. You've got the president of Sri Lanka just got overthrown. Can you imagine something like that happening here? Imagine, I mean, just can you imagine the chaos if people got so fed up with government that we had some form of an ousting of whoever our political leader happened to be. That's craziness. That's craziness. But Elon Musk thinks we need more people. I think we have a very fragile existence as it is, personally, with the amount of people that we have on Earth versus the amount of resources available. Now, I understand the push for renewable energy. It makes a lot of sense. How do we get there? I'm not the person to answer that question, but now, Musk is reportedly the parent of 9 children from 3 different women. I don't know if you guys knew that. So I guess by Elon Musk fathering 9 children, I'm pretty sure his pantry is very well stocked. Pretty sure he's got a bunker, multiple bunkers, as the richest man in the world. He's a smart guy. He runs Tesla. He runs SpaceX. Number of other companies. He was one of the founders of PayPal. So, and a number of other big companies that you guys have heard of. Companies that are on the stock market. Companies that are not on the stock market. Private equity firms. So I guess with 9 kids, if Elon Musk has 9 kids, maybe he's doing his duty. He's making his deposits into humanity by bringing in 9 children into the world. So I guess we should thank Elon Musk. I don't know, but yeah, that's that's what's going on there, right? So Musk seemed to confirm that the children were, with a tweet saying that he's doing his best to help curb the population crisis, and that was a tweet that he sent out. So he's trying to help curb the population crisis. Do you think we should all go out and have 9 kids so that we can kind of take care of this underpopulation issue that we're dealing with? I mean, this is what the tech entrepreneur is telling us that he's doing, and he's warning us that he's essentially doing this for the future of humanity and population growth, and it's a way for him to avoid an imminent population collapse. So you guys can comment down below if you support the idea or if you disagree with the idea. Back in 2019, Elon Musk said that the biggest problem that the world would face in 20 years is a population collapse. So let's just, okay, so what, 2019, so 20 years, so that'd be 2039, we're supposed to potentially face a population collapse. Could that really happen? I guess anything could happen. I wonder if the stock market would be at like, Dow Jones would be at like 150,000, S&P 500 would be at like 40,000, NASDAQ would be at like 70,000. Gas prices will probably be, I don't know, $15, $20 a gallon by then if it's not there sooner. Because you got to figure 20 years from now, there's probably going to be fewer gas-powered vehicles on the road in relation to electric vehicles. You're going to have your Teslas of the world. You're going to have your Ford Lightnings. You're going to have the what's that other NIO, the NIO electric car company coming out. You're going to have, and then Toyota, Lexus, BMW, Audi, Volkswagen. All of these automakers are coming out with these electric vehicles, and as they roll out more and more electric vehicles, they're going to roll out fewer and fewer gas-powered vehicles. Not immediately, but we see this transition. We see this evolution of society, the evolution of technology, historically over time. Whenever something new comes out, they don't immediately phase out the old. The old technology continues to be made until confidence and bugs get worked out of the newer technology, and then eventually research and development for the older technology stops, and then production eventually stops, and then whatever is out there, and they just stop producing it. And then then you end up dealing with like parts availability issues for some of these vehicles and older technologies that they're no longer producing. So you want to talk about supply chain problems? Just imagine when they stop making gas burning, fuel burning vehicles, and parts start failing because due to age, due to manufacturing mistakes. It's a brave new world out there is all I can say. There's going to be a lot of changes, and one of the best ways to be ready for this change is to prepare. We're prepping with food and backup energy sources. You got to prepare financially too, though. And it, the financial preparation, the economic preparedness part won't matter if we're primarily basing currency in US dollars or cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, gold, silver. It won't matter what type of currency we use to exchange. There will be some currency, but there will always be ownership of assets. The currency really doesn't matter. The assets are what matter. The resources are what matter. Whatever business you own, whether it's on the stock market, whether you own a private equity firm, whether you own a company that's not on the stock market, it doesn't matter. The company exists to make a profit. They offer products and or services. The company itself will likely own some assets. It will likely have some liabilities. And the value of that company will be dictated in whatever the popular currency is, whether it's US dollars, cash, Bitcoin, whatever coin you decide to come up with, Canadian coin, it won't matter. So, according to Elon Musk, there's this underpopulation crisis. Now, Musk is basically he's in the process of helping to populate the planet. Now, the UN expects that the global population will reach 8.5 billion people by 2030 and 9.7 billion people by 2050. By the end of the century, the estimates are saying something like around 10.5 billion people on the planet. Kind of scary. Kind of scary. Now, we know how I know from the internet. I've never been to China. I've never been to India. But I look at some of those countries, and that shows you how overpopulation can really kind of destroy where you live. It's like air pollution's horrible. Water, clean water is very difficult to get. Water pollution is very high. Noise pollution is very high. You want to eat organic. You want to eat healthy. Good luck. Good luck. Or be very, very wealthy. Because quality foods are going to be very, very hard to come by when there's so much consumption around you. So I can only imagine how much organic food costs out there. If you were a prepper in China or you're a prepper in India, I mean, that's got to be incredibly expensive. And then you think about how many people are around you. I would wonder, is that even safe? I mean, just imagine with resources so scarce in those types of environments, if people around you knew how much you were stockpiling and how much preparational stashing of food that you have available, I wouldn't feel safe. I personally don't know if I would feel very safe. That'd be like people around you knowing you had a crap ton of money stashed under your mattress. That's not safe. So, and then, with those higher, denser populations, there's so many people around you. And anyway, so I'm just thinking some of the living conditions that I've seen, these walls are paper thin. That's another risk in and of itself. And then you want to talk about an energy crisis? So, yeah. But the declining fertility rates, the average number of children a woman in a specific country has or is expected to have over a lifetime, it's not showing that we're going to have this growth that the reports are saying that we should have. But according to the reports, that these birth rates are only part of the story. But I want to get some feedback from you guys. Do you guys think that the solution to our problem today, our multitude of problems today, is to increase our population, or would the solution be to decrease our population? At the end of the day, it's going to be a battle for resources. And China's growing, y'all. China's growing, and they're growing rapidly. And they're going to need more resources than they have, which is why they're buying so much land, especially American farmland, which is kind of scary when you think about it. China's buying a tremendous amount of American farmland. And you want to talk about food shortages? You want to talk about food scarcity and food insecurity? You give enough legal rights to American farmland to other countries, and we're gonna see some real food shortages. We're gonna see some real energy crises. But let me know you guys' thoughts. Drop me some comments down below. Drop a like on the video if you made it this far. Consider subscribing to the channel. I left my email down below. A lot of you guys have been hitting me up trying to boost your incomes, and I'm gonna continue to work with you guys and help you guys figure out your path. But yeah, that's where we are, guys, and hit me up in the comments down below. I'll see you guys on the next video.